have your book with you. I do. This one is called Exercising My Demons. Does anyone have this? Well, you should, because it's a great book. You still have some of these at your table,
I
right?
have them at my table.
Yeah? So can you tell me the process of writing this book with Daniel?
Well, actually, he wrote it and I talked it. So he lived in Connecticut and I live in California. So we had to do it. I called him like 4 o'clock and that was 7 o'clock Eastern time. So that's how we did it. Set sessions over the phone.
Yeah. How long did it take, like, for you to recite all your stories?
That's a good question. I don't know. A couple months?
Okay, well, that's not bad. Kind of when we're preparing for this and trying to dig into all those memories and remember all your amazing stories, how long did that take you for the discovery process?
Well, because I talk about it so much at conventions, that it really wasn't a problem.
Got it.
Really on the tip of my tongue, you know. And then he, took everything and shortened it down and stuff like that. And we decided to make it a positive book. And I didn't want it to be that tell-all type book, so I didn't tell all the nasty stuff.
So going to The Exorcist, can you tell me some of the challenges in playing Pazuzu?
Well, a big one is because I talk a lot, and they put the appliance on for the vomiting scene. It was like a horse's bit. And I went like that, and then had tiny little tubes that went under the makeup. And then actually went to a pump in the back of the set. Thank God there was no CGI or, kind of stuff like that. So, but you couldn't eat, you couldn't talk, which was hard for me, and you couldn't smoke, and unfortunately I smoked cigarettes then. Dumb. So that was challenging, but it was fun. I think we just did it in a couple takes, right? Because, they had to change the nightgown. But, everything on that film, most stuff I did was challenging, but it was so much fun. And it was my first major motion picture. I had shot some other films before, but this was a big studio shot. So I was like a little girl in Candyland, something like that. So, and to work with Max von Sydow. And my mother had taken me to see Swedish films, so I knew exactly who he was. So it was wonderful going to work at 6:30 in the morning. And a lot of times they put all that makeup on. It would take 3 hours. And they put all the makeup on, and then you just sit there all day, and then you go home. And they just didn't get to you.
Really?
Yeah.
So you went home with makeup on?
Oh, no, they took it off. So
okay.
It took 3 hours to put it on, about an hour and a half to take it off. Yeah. Because they have to do it slowly.
Yeah.
And it's not like a Band-Aid even. They have a solvent, and they have to take little pieces. I mean, there was nothing ever to complain about.
Yeah.
This is just incredible.
So how did that opportunity come to you?
Well, I have to do a promo for my book right now.
Okay.
Everything that we are talking about today and more is in my book. And the whole first part about it is living your dreams. I'm a great believer in living your dreams, obviously, and not letting anybody take it away from you. And my sister who writes books had a saying that if you drop a dream, it breaks. So you gotta just keep on going. Whatever your dream is. If your dream is to run a wardrobe shop or a makeup shop or even to have a kid, whatever your dream is, keep it. And if you're around negative, for some reason people love to be negative about your dreams. I don't know if it's jealousy or
always finding
people
a
laugh at me
and find something wrong with it and
or
fun you.
even my parents. They said, "Oh, Eileen, there's hundreds of thousands of people who want to be an actor. What makes you think you can be an actor?"
Same with me, it was figure skating.
Oh yeah.
You're, I was a figure skater first, and only so and so many people make it as a figure skater. What makes you think you can?
Yeah.
And then when I moved into acting, because my body broke, from the abuse of the skating, they're like, no one makes it as an actor, and you're not good enough.
Yeah, well, we hear that all the time. So my point is, you just shut it out, or I just simply didn't tell people, and
This day, I'm still afraid to tell people.
Well, I think also, some people say it's a jinx or something like that. I don't think that's true. I think that when you get positive energy, it can only help. But there I was, I'm small now, and I obviously was smaller then, and very androgynous, with buck teeth. And I was coming out of an era, right before me was Twiggy, and all those people. Before that was Jane Mansfield and Bridget Bardot, and big,
Marilyn.
busty women. And
I would have been an actress.
So you just keep going and keep your dreams, whatever that dream is. And we talked about Malcolm McDowell for the same way.
So, what were some of your techniques for developing your voice?
Well, I didn't do much of the voice. That was Mercedes and Cameron.
Okay.
And she did most of it. But we shared some of it. But to develop the character, which you can find out, I did a play, and 2 agents came to see the play in New York City. And the next day they called up and asked me if I wanted to audition for some horror film called The Exorcist. And so I did, and I went and met them, and they gave me the book, and said, come home, come back to an improv. So I don't know what a demon sounds like, so I went to the library, and I got some books about wild animals. And I closed we had shades in New York, and I closed the shades and lit some candles, and like animals do. And that seemed to work, because that's what I did on 2 improvs. And then I went ahead and met Billy Friedkin and Dick Smith, because I had to look enough alike with Miss Blair, that when my demon possessed her, and I did the vomiting scene and levitation, death scene, and the slapping scene, the masturbation scene, all that kind of stuff, and then I did a screen test.
Do we have any audience questions? No? Oh, yes.
Were you ever injured in the filming?
You have to repeat all questions.
Were you ever injured in the filming?
No. And the most interesting scene that I liked, I love shooting the death scene at the end. And what they did was, Jason Miller, Father Karras, was beating on Father Maron's chest, trying to bring him back to life. And we walked through the whole rehearsal, that he's down on the floor, he's beating him, he looks at me, he sees me, grabs me off the bed, throws me on the floor, and then they did a close-up of Linda's face. And we did it by the number. When they called action, I looked at Jason, and Jason looked like a German shepherd or something like he did. He just got this look on his face. It came over the bed, threw me on the floor, and just forget the numbers, forget everything else. So that was really fun. And I knew I didn't want to be a stunt person, but I liked shooting it. It was fun. So, what was the question?
Did you get injured on the set?
Oh, no.
What was your favorite scene you shot in the movie?
The death scene. I don't know why, I just like shooting it, but I'm going to give my book away because maybe you want to buy it, but the most interesting scene was the masturbation scene, of course. Can I tell a story?
Yes.
So Billy Friedkin, the whole crew is there, and the camera operator, and the director of photography, the cinematographer, the sound guy. They had all the cast in the room, right? And Billy Friedkin is going like this. And even in my early youth, I'm thinking, that's not going to work. The angle is wrong. So he said, no, it went like this. And I'm saying, well, are you sure? Yes, like that. So the still photographer is taking pictures of him jerking off, right? So he jumps up, grabs the camera, throws the film on the floor like some old movie, clears the set, and then we did the whole thing just with the director of photography and Billy Friedkin. But I'd like to see those pictures. Billy Friedkin jerking off. And I tell things in my book about the one spiritual episode I had that had to do with the freezing room. And I wanted to tell funny things in my book rather than scary things, because we've all heard about, was there electrical fire and was there this and that?
Was there a curse?
Things that happened after the film and, with Linda and stuff. I just didn't want it to be a tell-all book, so I wanted it to be a fun book.
Would you like to read us any part of it? You have it with you? You want to give us a preview, an excerpt?
I never thought of that. No one's ever asked
You want me to hold that for you while you're playing? You have it with you, ready to go? Hear it in the author's words.
I'm not prepared.
It's okay. We got plenty of time.
People often ask me if I got scared from seeing myself in the mirror with full demon makeup on. I most definitely did. Sometimes I couldn't quote unquote find myself. I had trouble seeing where Eileen ended and Dick Smith's prosthetics began. Beneath all that latex and makeup, I knew I was there somewhere. And after a while, though, I started to get used to it. Occasionally, if I had to get up to use the bathroom or get something from another room, I would pass a mirror and think, oh my God, is that what I really look like? So every night when I got home and the makeup was removed, I would look into the mirror again to make sure it was me. And then I go on to say, I actually spent more time on the set as Pazuzu Reagan than I did as myself. And sometimes I spent an entire day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I wouldn't get to work. That's pretty common. Then the makeup they used was far less than was originally conceived. So like that. But I did go, when I first got the makeup on, I went to the movies, because I wasn't thinking about it. What happened to me? I had popcorn and salt, and your pores are open, so all the salt and went onto my skin, and it burned, and I went, no, I don't want to do that. But that's really the tame part. There are actually more interesting parts in the book.
That was actually beautiful, though.
It was quite an experience for somebody, and you guys, I'm sure you know, it was like, oh, The Exorcist, it's just a little horror film. Nobody knew that the film was going to turn out to be the scariest movie of all time.
How can you, when you're in the moment, know the reaction it's going to get anything?
Oh, you have no idea, and then it was a closed set, and they really created this whole aura about the movie. They were very smart. I think it was one of the first sets, no journalists, no one was allowed in the set. It was totally closed, and you weren't allowed to take any pictures or take anything out of it, not even Dick Smith and his makeup. And I somehow have two of them that I got out, and I don't know how. But they created a lot of stuff. They even created the long lines getting into the movie, because it was one of the first movies, not the first, that they wouldn't let people in the movie until the second one started. So they created those long lines, created people, vomiting in the aisles and fainting in the movie. So they did a good job. But you can't do it without the product, and you can't do it without a screenplay. And that's also my contention. They keep saying The Curse of the Exorcist you can't do another film unless you like Exorcist the Believer. But the problem is they just never come up with a good screenplay.
Exactly.
You've been in a lot of independent films. Do you have a favorite of those?
You've been in a lot of independent films. Do you have a favorite of those?
Yeah, actually, the one before the one that I just shot, I think it was then, but it was called Night of the Caregiver, and it's on Tubi and on Amazon Prime. And we're going to screen it in Vegas. But it's basically a two-character film, and I play a really sweet lady living, on the outskirts of town, way on the end, and I hire caregivers. And you think that my character is really sweet and nice and serves tea and cookies, and then you find out, well, maybe she's not so nice, and that there's evil lurking around. And it's a good film. It came out really good, and like I said, it's on Tubi, and
And you said there will be a screening of that at Days of the Dead Vegas?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be. I mean, I'm happy to say it only run 137 minutes. 1 hour and 37 minutes.
I was gonna say, wait, what?
So you're not gonna have to sit. I mean, I just saw Flowers of the Killing Moon or whatever it's called, Killing of the Flower Moon, whatever it's called. It was 3.5 hours out of my life, and I didn't like it, and it was boring.
When you said 137 minutes, I was like, what?
It's actually 97 minutes.
There we go.
Let's see. Yeah, the movie's so long now. I mean, I even saw Naiad, which I loved, and that was long. You know, I think people think you're paying $18 to go to a movie. You gotta get your money first.
I love nothing more than an 80-minute run time. I love a short movie, especially a horror one. You can just get in, get right to the point, and then you're done. And you go on with your life.
I know, exactly true. I like short films. I love the medium.
Yeah.
And actually, I just shot another film called Grandma's Cookies, and I play this grandma that when she was younger, she stays up all night to see Santa Claus. And Santa Claus sees her hiding in the shadows and says, I'm gonna eat you like just one of my Christmas cookies. So I make a plan. If I bring him one little girl every year, that he'll let me live another year. So I do, but I make these little girls into Christmas cookies. Little ears and mouth and stuff like that. And I think it's going to be a really fun Christmas movie. We just shot it a couple weeks ago.
Did you say that was a short?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I know. So, you know, you see it, you love it, and you get out. But, and I have another film that's making the festival circuit. It's called Beverly Hills Exorcist. And I play a disembodied head and that gets stuck in this room and can't get out of the room. And so my character, I plead, I implore, I yell, I scream, and stuff like that. Great effects on it. Obviously, because I don't have a disembodied head. So those are 3 films that you really can look to. Ain't it amazing that I'm shooting more, you know, my career is just getting better and better.
You have quite an impressive IMDb page. Some bigger parts and a lot of uncredited parts as well. Halloween was on that for you?
Only 2. Well, Halloween 2, but Rob Zombie does, as he always casts more people than he wants. I don't know why. A friend of mine, Ezra Buzzington, he's been casting Halloween movies like 4 times and got cut 4 times.
Everything.
Yeah,
Right.
so they actually cut my scene, which is actually very funny, and it's on the deleted scenes. Maybe they didn't want humor in Halloween 2.
Maybe they wanted to go.
It's really funny. I find someone going through my trash, and I call the actor who happens to be SpongeBob. He's the sheriff. And I said, "Hey, there's someone going through my trash." He said, "Yeah, right."
Is that Tom Kenny? Or who's the actor? Is it Tom Kenny?
I don't know who plays SpongeBob.
I can't remember.
Tom Kenny.
Tom Kenny, yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, he's a great
There's
comedian.
someone going through my trash, and he's big and furry. He says, "Oh yeah, it's a Bigfoot." And they're laughing at me. I said, "No, it's not Bigfoot."
I have the DVD. I'm gonna have to check out those deleted scenes now.
Yeah, no, you do, because the second scene, and then he goes, "Oh, it must be a rabbit." And then my real sweet lady goes, "It ain't no goddamn rabbit."
That's amazing.
And then a funny part of that story, and then, oh, I'm sorry, he laughed. That's the whole scene, and they cut it.
Yeah.
And, you know, they could use some humor. So I went to a concert at Corpus Christi in Texas, and it was, I was working, and I went to the concert, and Rob Zombie was doing the concert with Alice Cooper. And so I go into the VIP party, and all these fans are going, "It ain't no goddamn rabbit." And finally, Rob got a little upset by it, and he said, "Okay, enough of that." And stuff like that. So people did watch the deleted scenes, but most of the time people don't.
Yeah, I like my favorite thing on my DVDs is I love watching behind the scenes featurettes, commentaries, and some deleted scenes depending on the movie, depending on the scenes, because sometimes they're hard to watch just because they didn't finish them because they knew they weren't using them because they're super rough. Right?
Yeah.
So they might be like visually hard to see or watch. But yeah, and so I saw that and I was like, I'm not recalling this, but I know these movies have so many people in them, so I wanted to ask you about that. I'm going to have to go back and revisit those deleted scenes now.
You do get tiny, the other thing is, besides that you want it there, it's a financial thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because you make a hell of a lot of money in residuals. If you're in the scene, then it might delete the scenes that get residuals, but they're so small.
Right.
I guess regarding the curse around filming, was that something you guys became aware of very early on, or was it something that sort of came up after the fact that you're like, all these really weird coincidences have happened in the last few months?
Oh, really big what?
Regarding the curse of filming, was that something that you kind of became aware of during filming or after the fact?
No, we had no idea that, and the things that happened, I mean, the film took 14 months to shoot, so a lot of the things that happened would happen in anybody's life, but because it was The Exorcist. I mean, I'd walk into offices in New York City even before I was filming, and a picture would fall, oh, the demon did it! So that went around a lot, but most of that stuff you didn't even hear about until after the shooting was over. And most of that stuff, I always think fans want me to say, yes, it was a demonic fire and stuff like that. But nobody really knows what happened with the fire. And unfortunately, people die in 14 months. My sister, unfortunately, had a miscarriage that was half a baby. So was that because of The Exorcist? I don't know.
Do you believe in the curse, or do you just think it's a bunch of food? I do. I'm like, whatever.
No, I believe you create your own life. And if you believe in the curse, or you believe bad things are going to happen to you, then they probably will.
Yeah.
We create that.
Yeah.
So, but it might be a curse, but it's still the scariest movie of all time.
It helps. It
Yeah.
helps to be the scariest movie.
And it's just made this incredible life for me that sometimes I'm signing a picture, for $40. I'm like, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. Someone's paying me $40 to sign my name. And I used
On
to,
your picture.
on my picture, I used to dream about that when I was a child. Right? I mean, I wanted to be an actress since I was 7. And there's funny stories about that too.
And regarding this book, how long had you been thinking about doing this before you actually started doing it?
Well, my manager, Chris Robb, was the one who convinced me to do it. Something's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And he convinced me to do it. And I was on Facebook, and I saw Kane Hodder's page, and that he had a book. So I followed it up. The hard part is to get a publisher. So I followed that up, and I met Mike Aloisi, who has his own company, which is called Ink Mike. And if you're interested in not only Kane Hodder, but other people, I think, what's his name? The makeup artist who did Days of the Dead and stuff like that.
Tom
But-
Savini.
Yes, thank you. So he wrote a book through Mike as well. And so if you just look up his webpage, and see what he's done, so we found the publisher, and then he agreed to publish it, and then I talked to Dan about it, and that was the evolution of it.
And did you know Danny for a long time beforehand? Or
I didn't know him at all. Mike
So how did
put
you
us
find
together.
You're one?
Mike put us together.
Oh, got it.
Because my sister's a writer, and she's written 18 mystery books. If you like comedy, it's truly comedy horror. So the first book she wrote was about a Weight Watchers Club, and as you got your low weight, then you got killed. And there were people in the class that you guys are probably too young to know, but there was a comic strip of Tubby and Little Lulu. So they had 2 people that were called Tubby and Little Lulu, and a bunch of overweight nuns. And so that's a fun book, and she's written 8 books.
What's your sister's name?
Denise Dietz.
Denise Dietz. So you can Google her and
I
find her
think that
book.
one's called Throw Darts at the Cheesecake.
Throw darts in the cheesecake?
Yeah. There's Tie of the Lamb Chop.
Tie of the Lamb Chop?
So it's really fun, humorous books if you're looking for a fun book to read.
And for those of the peoples out there who will be watching this interview, who are not here and would like to purchase your book, where could they find it online?
The best way to do it is go to Facebook and send me a private message. Or actually, the best way to do it is just go to Eileen Dietz 11 at Gmail. And
11 the number or the word?
11 the number.
Eileen Dietz 11 at gmail.com.
Right. And then you just pay for it through PayPal.
And you'll send it.
There's a slight postage charge. And obviously an autograph. I did an interview. Do you guys know the Grimm Collector?
Oh yeah.
You know, those guys are so nice.
They're so
And
wonderful.
They're kind of like me. They're going, how did this happen? I mean, they have 500,000 people subscribers. How did this happen? How did this happen to us? So we did an interview, and I actually sold 60 books of it. Shipping and handling is.
It can be annoying.
You gotta find it. You gotta find your money. Blah blah blah. You gotta package it and stuff like that. It's like a full-time job.
It is.
But I'm very grateful.
But
to
you're
them.
getting
They're
your
great.
stuff to the people. So
And we're having lunch together next week.
Oh,
They live
Michael
around the
Jessica?
corner from me.
Oh, tell them I said hello.
I will.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see them again.
Yeah. Well, they'll be doing Days of the Dead. They're touring Europe right now.
I think they got back.
They got back
They
and
got
then they're
back.
going back out again.
They're going back out
Yeah,
again.
in the middle of February.
Oh, wow.
We're having a private conversation here. Excuse us.
Grim Collective is awesome, and I love it when they go to Europe and go abroad because the videos they take out there and the filming locations overseas are so phenomenal. You guys have seen them, yes? No,
And you
yes?
guys have all seen The Exorcist, right? Anybody not seen it?
No.
Good.
Spoiler alert.
By the way, the 4K, even if you've seen it already, the 4K is amazing.
Yeah.
What they do with the sound and the color and the whole. I actually sell some of those at my table, but it is an incredible job they did.
So another credit I saw on your IMDb was Constantine.
Well, that's another story.
Is that in the book? Can you tell us about that?
I mean, it's a simple story. We shot the zombie forehead with Keanu Reeves, who is the nicest guy you ever want to meet. And they shot it for the opening credits, and then there were no opening credits. So I got kind of deleted from that one too.
Mercy.
But the picture on my table looks like I could have been in Walking Dead.
Yes.
I figured I could lie about it. Unless someone sees Nick Terrell and goes, hey, this is great makeup. Yeah, I didn't do that.
As I said, you've done a lot of things over the years. If your acting career had a theme song, what would it be?
I guess she's a survivor. Just keep on trucking. But actually, the older you get, the better it is, because there's less competition. You know, if you're 28 to 35 age range, I mean, there's so many people like that out there. But when you get older, it gets less and less, especially in the horror market. So I don't audition for horror films.
Yeah.
You know, they just call me for them because I have a reputation.
Is the deleted scene from Constantine on the Blu-ray or anything? Or did they just nix it because it was on?
No, that's next. Yeah.
Bummer, right?
That doesn't exist.
Like I watched The Exorcist like some years back where as an adult I wasn't expecting that much of it. I was expecting it to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be as crazy and shocking as it was. Did you like worry about any kind of backlash or anything to it?
Did you worry about any kind of backlash from how graphic and shocking The Exorcist was?
Did I what?
Did you worry about any kind of backlash
No.
from how graphic The Exorcist was?
There's more backlash than Helter Skelter, actually. Helter Skelter was really weird, and I'll digress a minute. When we shot that film, we were outside City Hall in downtown LA, and there was a camera on us, and that's when I get the last line in the film. But then the cameras left and went to shoot something else. So we were just there with our bald heads and our swastikas, and people started screaming at us and jeering at us and saying, you're no good and stuff like that. Obviously, the Manson murder is just a big thing in But, no, I never heard any, no pushback or stuff like that. But, and, when you think about it, God wins. You know, the devil
Yes.
goes out the window, you know, to rise again. See, I think if they make another Exorcist movie, unlike The Believer or The Beginning and all that nonsense, that they should make it from the point of view of Pazuzu. I don't know if anybody's ever, Frankenstein probably comes really close about the life of the monster and stuff like that, but I don't think they've ever made a movie just from the point of view of a monster.
That would be good though.
But when I do cameos, I play both parts. Did you have friends who like cameos, or you like them? Because I go, hi, this is Eileen Dietz from The Exorcist, and this is my friend Pazuzu. What do you want? I'm very busy. What are you busy doing, Pazuzu? Possessing people, what do you think? So, well, can you take a minute and just wish so-and-so a happy birthday? Do I have to? Yeah, you have to. Okay, happy birthday. And if you don't have a happy birthday, I'm going to haunt your dreams. And so I do cameos like that, and they're a lot of fun.
That's so fun. So that someone will just go onto cameo.com or the app and search your name?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And I'm not like 200, 300 people like people. They charge outrageous prices on Cameo.
They're really expensive
I think I'm
ones.
60, 45 or 60 or something like that.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I walked in like part of the way through, so forgive me if you had already answered this, but working on The Exorcist, was there any like funny stories or interactions that you had with William Friedkin? Because like hearing him in interviews is like so hilarious, like how crass he is. Just curious if you had any.
Hysterical in a good way?
Oh yeah, well, in my opinion, it was funny in a good way, but.
No, really, the one big scene is about the masturbation scene. That he really left me alone mostly. It really just came through. Special effects and Dick Smith and stuff like that. So he didn't even give much direction to Linda. So there was very little direction. Come on back, visit me, see my, Constantine pictures and stuff like that. Thank you guys for coming at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. Maybe next time it'll be 1 o'clock on a Saturday.
Maybe. All right, everyone, please give it up.